Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 58, I'll be tying the Blue Quill Nymph. Blue Quill Nymphs typically become active around the first week or so of April, at least in my neck of the woods, and can offer some fantastic nymph fishing. I like to fish this nymph two ways. First way is just a regular dead drift like I always, typically do with my nymph fishing. Dead drift bouncing off the bottom. And also, number two, I like to fish it as a dry fly. You see, when these nymphs begin their emergence to the surface, trout are picking them off as they hit the surface film. So what I'll do is I'll tie in a blue quill comparadun and trail off the back of it about a foot or so the nymph. And I'll dress the nymph with my favorite dry fly dressing. Yeah, heck of a combination, guys. And more likely, they're going to hit the nymph over the dry. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, here we go, the Blue Quill Nymph. Start by placing your hook in the vise, making sure that the shank of the hook is relatively parallel with your tabletop, and begin to cover the entire shank of the hook with thread. I'll be wrapping back to where the shank and the bend meet, and there you have it. Now the hook of choice for this fly is Mustad 3906B or a TMC equivalent. Typically these Blue Quill Nymphs start becoming active around the second week of April and lasting pretty much until the end of April. So it's a good hatch. You don't want to miss it. The nymphs offer some exciting fishing activity, and yeah, good one to add to your arsenal, guys. All right, so the first material we're going to put on the hook is the tail, and the tail is simply made from natural wood duck lemon flank feather. So you want to just carefully separate a little bunch there. I'm going to just pull 8 or so fibers from the main feather. Notice that there's a natural curve to these going up. I like to angle it up. I like to angle it so that the or position the section that I took so that it jets up a little bit. So that natural curve will help that. And I made the length of the tails equal to the shank of the hook, including the eye. And just take that thread and wrap that right up the excess material, and don't crowd the eye. Okay, return your thread back. Now, to build the abdomen is going to comprise of approximately 50% of the hook shank, and I use a strip peacock eye feather for this, or fiber. Here's the peacock eye right here, and what I'm trying to get is that nice two-tone color that only the eye has in it after you strip off the fuzz. This fiber is just below the eye, will not have that, and I'll show you. I'll pull one off. I'll use my fingers and strip off the fuzz, the hurl, and you can see it's very almost one color. It kind of has, I mean, I'm close to the eye. You kind of see a little bit of a stripe there, but wait till you see what I'm going to show you after I strip off one right from the eye. Here's one I already prepared. You can see a definite defined stripe. That's what we're looking for. So you want to gather that fiber right from the eye. Just grab a fiber, clip it off, and I like to use my fingers. Sometimes I get lucky enough to get it to strip nice, but a pencil eraser will work just as good, if not better. But look how defined that stripe is, and that's what I'm looking for the segmentation. The effect is unbelievable. So that being said, let's get our section, our fiber with the two-tone stripe. Attach that to the side of your hook. You attach the thick end. and there'll be plenty of material there for this tiny fly. So once that's attached, what I like to do is build a little taper with my thread and just kind of get a little taper going there. You can see it's starting to build. It won't take long. Just get it right around the 50% mark. And these are really slender nymphs, so you don't have to go crazy. That looks good right there, guys. So now I'm going to take that quill section and very carefully start to wrap the body, butting each wrap up against the next, moving forward up that taper. Look how nice that's coming. And then there you have it. There's your abdomen. Tie that off with 4 or 5 good wraps. Clip off your excess. So, in review, we have our tail, which is made from lemon wood duck, natural wood duck. You know, 5 or 6 fibers of that. Then we have our nice body, which is made from strip peacock eye, strictly from the eye, only from the eye section, guys. I'm telling you, you'll get a much more defined two-tone colored segment fiber that'll give you that beautiful segmentation. So what you can do after that is you can get to secure it. You can use a fine copper wire, or you could even get a little bit of your favorite UV glue and just gently tap a little bit on there, and don't hit the tails. Just kind of distribute it around the entire body that you made very carefully. I can't see what's on your side, but I'm going to take a peek. Okay, that looks good. Just kind of spread it around and get your light and have at it. It'll cure nicely for you, and it adds another layer of protection to keep the body, the abdomen, together a little bit longer than it would if you didn't have anything on you. And again, you could use a fine copper wire to secure it, to give it a little more strength. But this will work nice. That gives it a good effect and brings out the two-tone color there of that fiber. So our tail and abdomen are completely made. And now for the thorax. The thorax starts out with the wing case. And the wing case for this fly, I'm using a section of a dyed black goose feather, or goose wing quill. And I'm going to approximate the width of that being about 3/4 of the gap of the hook. And there's my section. So we have our cut end, we have our natural end, we have our side that the goose shows us, and then we have the underside. I want you guys to tie it in with the underside facing up and from the natural end. You want to secure it by the natural end as opposed to the cut end. So once you have that in there, you want to clip off your excess, and then make sure that when I fold this forward, I'm seeing quill body and not a quill body, a little bit of thread, and then, you know, we want to make sure that this fly is tied nicely, so that when I peel this forward, all I'm seeing is thorax and abdomen meeting together. Very good. So the reason why we're using black goose, I mean, it could be dyed black goose, dyed black turkey, whatever works for you or whatever you have on hand. But typically what happens just prior to emergence of a mayfly nymph, the wing cases turn black. So that's what we're trying to imitate here, just prior to emergence. So now the next material that we're going to tie in is the legs, and I like to use speckled henback, brown speckled henback. And here's a gem here. My buddy Evan Brandt from Sidling Hill Hackle is just amazing. Some of the hackles that he produces on that farm. Yeah, highly recommend it, guys. Beautiful speckled henback. And you know, many other hackles he makes. He grows the all the dry fly hackle, streamer hackles, and so forth. So I'm going to select one of those fibers, one of those feathers, draw down the fuzz, get rid of that to expose the stem, and we're going to carefully draw some of these fibers and even them out. That's maybe a little bit more. We're gonna grab a good bunch of them. Just want to make sure they're relatively even. Yep. So I'm going to take that side because I like that section, that amount, and I'm going to attach that to the hook, facing forward, not up against the eye, and the length is going to be approximately half the shank of the hook. I'm just going to attach them a little bit closer. I'm a little bit too far away. There we go. But don't crowd the eye with that bunch of leg material. So once that's on there, clip off your excess, and we'll get a good idea of what they look like. That's pretty much it right there for now. So now I'm going to grab some of my fur blend to build the thorax. The fur blend that I'm using is, it's like a yellowish brown that I mixed up. So just grab a little bit of that, draw out a little bit, attach it to your thread and form your noodle. Nice fine noodle. Don't go heavy with this. It's a tiny, I mean, I'm tying on a size 16 right now, but 18s. I tie this on 18s, and you can easily overdo it and over proportion this fly, this thorax with this size of the hook. So just carefully, you know, use the correct amount. That looks perfect. I'm going to use just a tad more to get it up a little bit closer because I'm right in the middle of the thorax. Just a little bit, just enough to hide the thread. I'm not overdoing it. There we go. Pull your legs forward, build up a little, dam up a little thread in front of the legs. So now I'm going to fan these legs out. I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like on the camera there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So now I'm going to separate them in equal bunches. Perfect. And I'm going to lay them back and put a couple of wraps of thread in there just to secure it, those legs to the sides a little bit. But inevitably when I fold this wing case over, that's what's going to push them down. But I just like to separate them a little bit better. They kind of lay better when you wrap your thread. So once you fold your wing case over, tie it in with a couple of securing wraps and clip off the excess. It's a great looking nymph. I'm going to tie the knot. There we go. Let's take a peek at this, get our legs situated. Check out the bottom, get rid of some of the wild ones that came away from the main bunch. Got a little bit of thread yet hanging out there. There we go. So yeah. So now for the final step, you're just going to put a little bit of head cement on the knot and on the wing case. Here we go, guys. Very simple pattern to tie, but very effective. The Blue Quill Nymph. Great looking bug. Highly recommend fishing this pattern. Like I said earlier, second week of April till about the very end of April. You can encounter some great fishing. I want to thank you for joining me today in the episode of the Fly of the Week. I appreciate all your support, and if you like my content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. tight lines, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.